Hello guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Nomad version of Minecraft. I can't remember. Clearly I got that because I must have broken that chest. Yep. But yeah, so it's been a little while since I recorded the last episode. I uploaded was the first episode of this series. It was also recorded when I was still gone on spring break. It was recorded before I left for spring break, and those of you that know, I just got back this week. Uploaded Arc yesterday. But yeah, to continue with the theme of telling you guys stories about either my childhood or my time working in retail. We're gonna see if I can quick on the spot come up with some sort of story that follows one of those two premises. Ooh, I got one. Probably I sound really disorganized because I don't pre-plan these things. You guys get the full raw version of me. What you hear is kind of what you get. I would say what you see, but you can't actually see me, so yeah, that doesn't make sense. I actually want to go out to the ocean because boats are really easy to find, and I think that's a really good way to get started as far as Nomad version. And that is not the ocean. This way then. Yeah, so I worked at a gas station, and I did this thing called educational leave whenever I left for college, so I'd go back and work at the gas station over the summer. And one summer there was road construction, like really bad road construction, in near where the main gas station is that I worked at. So I was like, well, I still want to try and get close to 40 hours. The place that I worked, you really couldn't work over 40 hours. You'd actually get yelled at if you did go over 40 hours, unless like you were management or you were scheduled to go over 40 hours or whatnot. Even then, sometimes it was frowned upon still. But anyway, so I ended up working at a gas station that was about a half hour away. Yeah, it was 27-ish miles. So however many kilometers that is, I don't honestly know off the top of my head. It's like 1.6 kilometers per mile, so no. Yeah, so I'd take that times 1.6. It's an amount. Probably around 40 or 50 kilometers, if I'm being completely honest with myself. Yeah, so I was working there, and this gas station closed. The one that I normally worked at was open 24/7. And I got to work with a super fun shift lead a lot of nights. I don't want to use his actual name. We'll just call him Coconut. Totally not like his stream name on Twitch. I'll link him in the description because he's really fun. He mostly streams Apex Legends, which is not a game that I play, but you should definitely go watch. Yeah, so we were working together, and one night, normally there's 3 people on until 10, and then 2 people until midnight, and that's when we closed. And so I was working with him, and me and him went to go stock the cooler. And the beautiful part about this is, oh boy, this is going to be a deadly trip down to this boat. Okay. Okay. I have nothing to create air pockets. I'm gonna drown. So we were working. We went into the cooler to go stock it, and he this particular quick trip didn't have a speaker. Oh. Well, you know where I worked now. I was trying to avoid using the name of the store. This particular store that I worked at had what's it called? It didn't have a speaker in its cooler the way that the stores that I normally worked at did. I am going to drown. Nope, I survived. Yeah, it didn't have a speaker like the normal stores that I worked at. Inside the cooler, normally it just plays like regular music. But so I pulled out my phone and I have Spotify, and so I was like, oh, I'll just put on like do my playlist like I do sometimes when I don't have when the speaker either isn't working or isn't loud enough or whatever. And I start playing my music and we're chilling in there, and then I have a wide variety of music on my playlist. Like it ranges from Disney to hardcore rock to some metal to all of this all these different types of music. There is one more chest in there. I just want to get myself in position to get it and not drown. But so all of a sudden we're listening. I don't even remember what the first song was that came on, but the second song that came on was a song from High School Musical. And here I was expecting to like get some shade or whatever from this guy that I work with. No, we actually ended up just full on jamming out to High School Musical for the better part of the rest of that night while we were working in the cooler, and it was a wonderful time. Shout out to Gavin, also known as Coconut Boulevard, because he does use his actual name when he streams. I just haven't decided if I want my actual name on my channel or not. Maybe you guys will be the deciding factor on that one someday. But anyway, yeah, so we were jamming out, and then all of a sudden one of us got called up front because the other person had to leave, and it was 10 o'clock at night, and it was a sad day because we were having a lot of fun. And then once it gets later in the night, there's typically not as many people in the store, so we'd be like either singing over the headset to each other, or we'd sing to each other while we were cleaning like stuff in the basically the end of the night. You're just cleaning a bunch of stuff in the store before you close, and so yeah, we would sing to each other while we were closing because it's wonderful. And a lot of parts of that story might have been bleeped out if I can get my well, actually they aren't going to be bleeped out because I don't have an editing software yet, and I want to upload this video today. So yeah, I hope nobody from Quick Trip ever watches this. They might question my work ethic when it comes to singing at a store. But hey, sometimes you gotta make your own fun, regardless of where you work. I'm gonna drown, I'm gonna drown, I'm gonna drown. Actually, it wasn't even that close to drowning. But there we go, get in the boat. Yes, that was one super fun adventure. Actually, that summer I ended up working at 5 different stores, which I still hold that as one of my big accomplishments because I really enjoyed. I love driving, as evident by the fact that I've taken all of the road trips, and I'm possibly going to take another one this summer. That one is really dependent on financials and if I can get YouTube videos stocked up and theoretically get a laptop before then, because yeah, I need to eventually buy a laptop because I can't really just I can't bring my desktop on a road trip because I just won't have internet and whatnot to handle all that stuff. More buried treasure maps. Up we go. Regain my air pockets. I will say, I don't know like what, like I get that there's buried treasure, but I don't know what they mark. They just kind of exist to me. Like, it's not clear what they're there for. So fix your game, Mojang. I mean, I'm sure they've heard that expression thousands of times. I'm gonna start drowning, I'm gonna start drowning, I'm gonna start drowning. Give me up, give me up, give me up. Oh god, this is gonna be a close one. Woo! That was actually really close to me just drowning there. We're gonna regen some health while we wait to go down here. What are some other fun stories? So actually, this shift lead that I ended up working under, and we did the High School Musical stuff and whatnot. That was a blast. We actually started playing Ultimate Frisbee together, which, if you've never played Ultimate Frisbee or even heard of it, I'm going to do my best to try and explain it right now. So basically, so it's like soccer in the way that you have continuous play. So you don't stop play except when somebody scores. And it's like football in the aspect of you have 2 touchdowns and you have a kickoff or a throw off at the start of the game. And basically the some of the rules is when you have the frisbee, you can't move, like you can't walk. You can pivot like in basketball, but you can't like walk with the frisbee. You are allowed, depending on how like harsh people are on the rules, 2 steps to stop if you're like at a full sprint and catch the frisbee, or as quickly as possible, as safe as possible. Because like for us, we didn't want anybody blowing out a knee just trying to stop from a dead sprint. So that's kind of the way that we phrased it, was as quickly as you can, as safely as you can. Because especially when none of us are like, oh, we're professional. No, none of us were like professional athletes or played any like college sports. So we're all like, yeah, we're just going to not hurt ourselves kind of a deal. I think it's a good motto if you're just playing a sport for fun, is we're going to not hurt ourselves. Like, I'm a huge fan of that idea. Oh, stupid husks. Oh, they don't burn in daylight and it's obnoxious. But yeah, so Ultimate Frisbee, I always have a fun time with that sport because, so yeah, it requires a lot of stamina, which I don't have, nor does it look like I have it. I'm one of those people who does not look physically fit, and I'm not really physically fit. But I'm faster than people expect, and I'm more athletic than people expect for my size. Which helps a lot in this sport because I can kind of be walking around and then just out of nowhere drop to a dead sprint, and all of a sudden everyone forgot to cover me. And normally that's how I score like my first 3 touchdowns-ish. That's most of the time. I think that summer I averaged 2 to 3 touchdowns. We played every Sunday, so 2 to 3 touchdowns a week. And so normally after like the first one or the second one, I mean, everybody's just like, oh. First one, they're like, oh, nice catch. Second one, I mean, they don't say that sarcastically. Everybody's like actually super friendly when we play. But they're normally like, oh, nice catch. And then the second one, they're like, hey, somebody should cover him. And then after the third one, they really aggressively start covering me. And that's when I really feel like I'm doing my biggest part as far as the team player goes, because now everybody's worried about me and not so focused on, oh yeah, hey, this guy, or basically, yeah, they're focused on me, and then some of our more athletic guys can kind of sneak away with some stuff. It's actually not a terrible trade from a villager. What do I want to drop? Beetroot seeds, because they're awful. Mr. Blacksmith, what are you going to offer me now? Ooh, 8 iron for an emerald. I can do that. Yeah, so we honestly had like such a good time playing, or I had such a good time playing Ultimate Frisbee, because you do get a bunch of that like freedom to what is the right word for this? You get a lot of freedom to kind of like make up your own play on the fly. I know there's this one play, and I think not every, but most Ultimate people that I played with, because I played with different people every time. We did schoolyard pick, which if you don't know what that is, we pick 2 captains, and normally the way that works is somebody will drop to a knee, and when the first person drops to a knee, everybody else has to follow them to a knee. And the last 2 people to not go down on a knee are the captains. Because nobody really likes being captains, because then you end up with, like, if teams are unfair, you get blamed, or the last person that gets picked is always, like, yeah. So, anyway, I don't think I ever was captain an entire time that I played with them, but we did our whole, like, everybody get on a knee or whatnot, and picked our teams, and I don't know why I did the Bottles of Enchanting. It was really unnecessary. But yeah, so we picked our teams, and this team, we came up with this brilliant idea that on the next kickoff, we were going to run Turtle. So I don't know exactly why it was called Turtle, but basically what you do is you get your guy who can throw it the farthest and the accurate, and you get the guy that can run the fastest and jump the highest. Normally we try and pick somebody who can actually read a frisbee, because you can run fast and be tall and jump high, but if you can't read where the frisbee's going, you don't really have a shot at catching it. That was the other thing that I was really good at, was reading a frisbee. That was like my biggest benefit. That, and because I am a bigger guy, when I go up for the frisbee, I don't move generally. I had one guy that I played with, he liked to tackle me out of the air, which is technically against the rules, but like it's all for fun, so as long as I'm not landing on my head, I don't really care. Like, I'm not going to go around tackling people, but anyway. So we picked Coconut Boulevard or Gavin to do the throw, and we picked a different guy. I don't even remember which guy we picked to do the run, but anyway, we get the kickoff, and it's one and done. So the one guy, as soon as we get the kickoff, sprints to the end zone, and we yell Turtle, and everybody drops on their back and throws their hands and legs up in the air and just flails. And then he just hucks the frisbee, and the whole goal is to distract the other team so that they don't realize what's going on. And if I remember correctly, no one on the other team got distracted whatsoever, but we somehow still came down with the frisbee and scored, which was really cool. It just goes to show that sometimes you can have the most creative plan in the world and it just doesn't work out. Actually, most of the time I feel like creative plans will fail you. I don't know. I've had some creative plans that have just not worked in the past, and then I've had some that actually do work pretty well, so I'm not the right person to talk to about this, clearly. Oh, we're drowning. Up, 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 up. Okay. Is this the nose of the ship? Yeah, there's not going to be another guy in here, I don't think. Yeah, it's not hollow. Dang, that was just a one chest boat. That's a sad day. Yeah, the chest was lost in a in the terrible crash that this boat encountered. But yeah, Ultimate Frisbee. It's a really wide tangent from working at a gas station. But hey, it was a good time. I would always make sure that my schedule, like I wouldn't work Sunday night so that I could go play Ultimate Frisbee, and it was a lot of fun. We just ran into the problem of it's really hard to keep that going when like people go off to college, especially now that I don't live in that area anymore. Like, it's really unfortunate. Alright, we're going to use this chest to get rid of stuff. Like all of these buried treasure maps. And this armor that I don't need. Because I don't want enchanted armor. Because it doesn't... Or, well, I don't want enchanted armor I'm not wearing. Because it doesn't do me any good. Simply because... enchanted armor, like... Ooh, diamonds. I don't think there's any trades for it if I go to a blacksmith. So, like, the helmet, I might be able to find, like, an armor person that will trade for that. So, like, I give him the helmet and he'll give me some emeralds or whatnot. I don't know if that's an actual trade that they'll give, but there's a chance. And you know what they say. Sometimes you just gotta risk it for a biscuit. I have noticed, I don't know if you saw that, there was an underwater ravine right there. Those seem to have a lot more ores than normal ravines from what I've noticed. I think that's what treasure maps point toward, is those underground ravines. But especially since I'm like avoiding getting, like, going, like I'm not really going mining, I'm not really cutting down trees, I'm getting most of my resources from this whole scavenging idea. That really changes how things go, if that makes sense. Changes my whole mindset. I'm not really looking for those ravines with all the ores because I'm not really mining. And I'm not really setting up a house. I'm just kind of trucking along, using the ocean, using the shore. Oh no, I want you back. Oh shit. Perfect. But yeah, Ultimate Frisbee is a really, really fun sport, and if you ever get the chance to join a pickup game, definitely do so. Another thing that's really fun to do, I know some people like look up highlights of, like, even I like watch highlights of football and occasionally basketball, not very often, but I find watching like Ultimate Frisbee highlights to be really, really interesting, especially when the professionals play, because they do some things that are nuts. I know me and my buddies up here at college, like, we don't always put a game together, but we'll just go throw the Frisbee around and practice random throws, and that's a hole. It's a good thing that wasn't lava. That would have been a sad day. Now that I finally got, like, some equipment, I go and fall in lava. But yeah, ooh, I don't have a saddle or any means to make a lead. Shit. Because I would not mind having a donkey to put a chest on and have some extra storage. But yeah, Ultimate Frisbee. We did like practice throws, and so some really fun ones that we do is we do the scoop and throw. So if a pass is dropped in Ultimate Frisbee, or like the frisbee. If the frisbee hits the ground basically at all, it changes possession to the other team. And so, what is a scoop throw is essentially you put your thumb on the top of your disc, and you put your fingers on the side of the disc or the frisbee, whatever you want to call it, and you like flip your wrist and angle the like apply pressure with your thumb towards the back of the disc so that it gets off the ground, and you essentially throw the disc without ever actually picking it up, which is really hard to get that to go like any good amount of distance. I think it really depends on the grass. It works better on fluffier grass. If you're trying to do it on some super dry grass, it's just not going to be a good time, and you're probably going to scrape your knuckles, because I did that. But I have successfully done that before, not in a game, because if your teammates don't know that you can do that throw and you go and do it, none of them are expecting the throw to come. So nobody bothers to catch it. I have, in a game, successfully done behind the back throw. That's actually one of my favorites, because there's like forehand, backhand, and then if you can get good, you can do forehand, backhand, both of which behind your back, which normally just surprises people. Another one that your teammates will hate if you do is the hammer throw. Typically, people use that for the throw-offs for distance, but because when we do our like throwing games, I like to occasionally practice my hammer throw. So I have actually gotten relatively accurate with it, or I haven't thrown disc in a while, and I'm really looking forward to it being not snow on the ground. Yeah, fun fact, I live somewhere where snow is on the ground. But for there not to be snow on the ground, because we could go through a disc again, and hammer throw is just something that I have scored on in games before, and it is one of the hardest throws to catch, simply because it comes down so fast. It's not lofted where you can snatch it out of the air. You kind of have to catch it similar to the way like you catch a football, like a punt kind of. You have to really grab it, and it's really hard to just catch it with one hand or even two. And you really can't alligator catch it. So alligator catch it is essentially, as the disc is flying through the air, you clap your hands together on it. Hence the term alligator, because it kind of looks like, when you have your arms outstretched, it looks like you're an alligator. But yeah, I think I've learned somewhere like 11 or 12 different throws, and I've used a lot of them in games. Some of them are just stupid throws that I never use in like an actual game. I used to be... Side note, and we'll try and finish on this side note because it's getting kind of... Come on, little guy, come at me. Oh, he's actually coming at me. I used to play football, and I played on the line, offensive and defensive line. I played a couple other positions, but those were like my main positions. And I played center multiple different times in my middle high school career, and so I actually can do like snap the frisbee between my legs and actually throw an effective throw, which is, it's, for me, it's not hard to do because I know how a frisbee works. Basically, you want the frisbee to fly flat unless you can't get the frisbee to fly flat, which I had the longest time learning how to get my frisbee to fly flat. If you can't figure out how to get a frisbee to fly flat, here's what you do. You learn how a frisbee curves, and then you just adjust your throw to play with your curve. It's kind of like golf, but a lot easier, because I still can't get my hit to match with my curve in golf, because I slice like no other. And I'm right-handed, so I think that's the right terminology if it goes right, but who knows? There's lava. This whole forest is going to burn down. That skeleton just like rapid-fired me. But on that wonderful note, yeah, so moral of today's story is you can sometimes make friends in unexpected circumstances. And if you ever get the chance, try Ultimate Frisbee, or just go throw a Frisbee. Because I feel like even with my other friends who aren't like athletic, we'll go throw Frisbee. Like, even I'm not really athletic, but I like to do some sort of athletic stuff, like ride a bike, Occasionally, if I'm really feeling adventurous, go for a run and then like frisbee and whatnot. But even people who like, they don't throw footballs, they don't do all that other stuff, they love throwing frisbee because it's something everybody can kind of pick up. And it's very similar to I was going to say singing, but I don't think that's the right analogy. We're going to say it's very similar to League of Legends, which is a game that I had never once picked up in my life. But I had my first roommate in college. He played League of Legends religiously. And I know, and I had a couple other friends that play League, but I know that in order to play League of Legends, you have to, what's it called? It takes a while. You have to play it a while and get good at the game. You can't just pick it up. Well, some people probably can just pick it up and get good, but for the most part, it takes practice. And that's the same way with frisbee. Like, if you keep saying, "Oh, I'm awful at throwing the frisbee," you're never going to get better. But I know so many people that we've started playing and their throws go sideways to start with. And eventually, with enough of us there that have thrown frisbee for as long, because most of us that, or I shouldn't say most of us, but some of us that have played, like, we've thrown frisbees for 4 or 5 plus years. So, like, we have practiced playing. And so, yeah, it's one of those things that you just kind of pick up after you throw for so many times. Like, and you'll notice if you look at each one of us, we all throw a little bit different. It's kind of like walking. If you notice, you can pick out like step cadences, or if you're just looking at a crowd of people and you can only see their backs, even if they're all in the same shirt, by step pattern, you can kind of pick out who's who. Which brings me to like so I browse Reddit on occasion, and plug here, but shower thoughts on Reddit is probably one of my favorites. That and Ask Reddit are really fun to just kind of doink around on. And yes, I use the word doink. I have no real rhyme or reason for using the word doink. It's just kind of fun to say. But I saw a shower thought that was, it's funny how you can recognize your sibling's cadence coming up the stairs, but you'd never be able to recognize your own step pattern. Which is true. I can't pick out my own step pattern. But the first comment, or the comment that I saw was, if I hear my footsteps, if my footsteps are coming up the stairs, I have a completely different problem than knowing who it is. And I just thought that was pretty funny because it's so true. Like, I would be terrified if I heard myself coming up the stairs. And I wasn't walking up the stairs at the time. Like, I'm sitting here recording, and I hear somebody walking up the stairs, and it's me, and I'm like, okay, that's weird. Which obviously some people have very similar step cadences. Perfect example of that. In the military, I have a buddy who's a Marine, but they get taught a step cadence. They get very used to their order of when to step with which foot and whatnot. So a lot of them, you can kind of like, you can still tell them apart, but they have very similar cadences because that's the way they're drilled. They practice it for hours and hours and hours and hours. But yeah, on that note, I'm going to end this video because it's running a little bit long. But we got some good stuff. I was not expecting to get a diamond pickaxe this early in the game. I don't know where we're going yet. We're just kind of looking around for more stuff. I'm really upset I can't find a thing. I mean, we could go investigate a mine and go see if we can find like an abandoned mine shaft or a dungeon or whatnot. I haven't really investigated underground yet. But we do have this pickaxe, so maybe we can go get some obsidian. Do I have enough iron? I have enough iron to make a bucket. How about that? Next episode, we're going to try and get obsidian to go to the nether and see if we can find another fortress, because there's usually lots of chests there. So, yeah, look forward to that. That should be coming out next Monday. Thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave a like. If you didn't, dislike. Either way, if you have any suggestions or anything else, leave it in the comments. I'll see you guys all next time. Bye.